When I found out about human design in 2016, I want to paint a picture of what my life was like. At the time, I was working 5 different jobs. I was tasting life in so many ways. I was teaching yoga, I was bartending, I was a chef assistant, I was working on a farm, I was opening a yoga studio as an assistant manager, a studio manager, as well as doing various donation based work. And I was burning the candle at both ends. Yes, I was post college, and yet I was working over 10-hour days. And I recognized at some point that that wasn't going to be sustainable forever. And yet that was where I was at. I had my hands in so many different buckets. And when I received this information, I was so confronted by it. I found myself falling into what I think can often happen when we don't like things about our chart, or we get information that's not totally accurate because of how many pieces of the puzzle there are that make up you, that I was being told that I had to be more patient. I was being told that I had to do less things. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that I was being invited into slowing down. And what was normal, comfortable quotation marks, for me at the time was to keep saying yes, to keep people pleasing, to keep appeasing the situations I was in, because I was too afraid to create conflict, rupture. I also didn't have the skills and tools to navigate conflict and rupture as I do in this moment in my life right now. So I didn't want to create conflict often. I was creating conflict often, but I was internalizing it and holding it by myself. And I found myself often committing to things because of the excitement of other people, which was so intoxicating for me to feel and experience, because I would feel it viscerally. This is one of the things about a reflector, is like there's a genuine reflection often that I used to experience where I would get completely lost in another person's way of being and mirror it and feel really good about mirroring some of the things that I was mirroring, and feel like I needed to do a lot of the things that I was being invited into. And I don't regret for a moment the things that I did. And yet I found myself in a wake of disappointment often, of feeling like the things that I was getting invested in, the side projects, the projects of other people, the things I was overly saying yes to, the ways that I was investing my energy, because I just thought that I didn't think I really had a choice. I was often working with disappointment. And when I found this word disappointment was part of being a reflector, I was really struck. I was really struck that there could be a different way. And when I heard this other word of the other experience I could be having, the other option on the menu that I could be having as surprise, which I also think of as delight or awe now with much experience, I didn't understand that. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know really how to feel that. I think the closest I'd probably felt was moments of synchronicity. And I was shown this world. I was shown that there could be another way, right? And in this moment, I'm thinking about it as like sometimes we're given a book and someone says, it's so good, you should read it. It's going to change your life. It's going to open your eyes. It's so good. It helped me so much. Yeah, we don't know what's in that book. We just know it's good. We just know there's like a story and discoveries and things to receive. We don't know what's in that book. We don't know the words. We don't know the tales. We don't know the experiences. We don't know the plot line. And that feels like what I was experiencing. Like I was given this book, like, oh, you can experience this thing called surprise. Like that could be your life. And there could be a world in which you're very connected to yourself. And there could be a world in which you create it and make up where you're going. But you have to open the book and you have to start reading it and you have to start taking steps. And so there was such a defining moment where in August of 2016, I had the great opportunity to give it a go. This whole human design thing. I was like, what do you mean? I have to wait a lunar cycle to make major choices. It's the strategy, if you will, of a reflector, like how we best operate in certain situations is to see what builds in momentum and see what dissipates or just completely becomes obsolete. There are days where I got so excited about something and then the next day I completely forget. Or like a few days later, I'm like, what? And it's always so telling to me what actually has a sticking factor and is like a snowball effect and builds, and what is fleeting and dissipates. And that's been my process as a reflector, to start noticing that with acute, precise attention, noticing these moments. So that's part of my way. It's part of the genius. It's part of the thing that feels most true for me. And has been so, 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 so profoundly helpful in me refining how I choose to use my energy in the world. And so when I opened the book in August of 2016, it was to leave where I lived and knew for 8 years and go move to New York City, to Brooklyn. And I sat with it for 28 days, and every single day something built monumentally. Like my lease was ending at the right time, and like I could drive my car, and my sister happened to be moving to Kauai, and the job that I had at the time was no longer feeling exciting, and there was a very new path that business was going out down that was no longer aligned with my values in a big way. So all these things just started coalescing for the pathway to be opened and be so clear. Was it scary? Was there unknowns? Did I know what the fuck I was doing? No. And yet it was obvious what the next step was. The way was being shown for me, and I was on that ride. And that was the first time I ever tried this whole wait 28 days. And since then, doing that and being patient for choices that hold gravity for me has been my patient process, and is really, really telling when I completely forget about things to where they become the forefront of my mind, where there's moments where I'll be like, oh yeah, thinking about that person, or thinking about that situation, or thinking about that opportunity, or thinking about that next step. I think I want to take it, right? I feel I want to take it. I don't always know why. And there's sometimes that things have happened that have been really bizarre. I think one of the most bizarre ones that I experienced was I was starting to have this experience that wasn't like in reality. It was more in my imaginal field of needing to be around horses. Didn't grow up with horses, didn't really, I've ridden horses a handful of times in my life, but it's not something that's like core to my life. And I was like, I need to be around horses. I didn't know what that meant. And this kept happening, kept coming up, kept coming up, kept coming up. And probably about a month and a half, maybe even 2 months, I saw this event pop up that was internal family systems with horses. And it was an immediate, clear yes. That, that is what I've been waiting for. And I took action. I didn't need another 28 days to take action. It had already been generating itself in my imaginal field and my awareness in a very unexpected way, right? A surprising way. And so I share this as a reflector because I know that there is a lot of confusion around what the heck does it mean to wait 28 days as a lunar cycle. And I want to open up the aperture of understanding that to be a reflector can look a lot of different ways. And it's not this like prescribed thing. And again, we're all going to have our different experience of that. That's my experience as a reflector, is watching what snowballs and watching what dissipates. And I also am not an impulsive person in a lot of ways. Like my impulsivity comes from deep knowing of myself. Like, oh yeah, I feel connected to that thing. I feel like I love that thing, or I've had experience with that thing. Like, yeah, I know I'm going to love it. Or like, I trust this person so deeply and I'm going to give it a go, right? I'm not trying to be a perfect person. I'm more really attuned to those moments where even like energetically, there will be some things that feel energetically just like not clear in my system and I wait. But if there's like a root that takes hold or a way that I find benefit to doing some of these more spontaneous things, great. Again, I want to open up that there's like a way and to follow your lunar cycle as a reflector. And these are some of the ways that have really worked for me, where surprise has been so deeply embodied through my process, through being patient, through being clear, through being allowed to follow the threads, even when I don't know where they're leading, to find the greater tapestry that was beckoning me in. So, my reflectors, I would love to hear your process because I know we're all different. What has worked for you? What feels resonant here? What stands out? What feels awakening, opening to how you live your life as a reflector?